morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I'm the badass Guru Lori Monaco. It is a brisk, it says it's 60, but it's totally not 60 degrees here. I have no idea why it's saying that. I think it's closer to like 40, but it is beautiful out. It's very sunny, and I am in the South. I am located in the South, if we consider Tennessee the South. I guess we do. But welcome everyone to Viva Cafe con Leche.
Good morning. Buenos días, mi gente. Aquí con la Margarita, your gladiator guru. I don't even know what weather it is because sometimes I don't even know what day it is. But I'll tell you what, it's sunny. Sunshiny day. And it is, darling. It's 44 with a high of 62. Yeah, it is sunny though. So that's good. It's going to be bright. So yes, good morning. Tennessee considered the South. I guess it is. You Southerner, you.
That Sunshiny Day song, wasn't that from the Brady Bunch?
Sunshiny day.
I think so. It was one of their
I think the Partridge Family did
I
sing
loved
it.
the Partridge Family. I loved watching the Partridge. I mean, the Brady Bunch was cheesy, but when I was little, but I really liked the Partridge Family because of singing. Like with the entertainment.
They were more real.
Yeah, they were. Yes, they were, because there was always, they were more sibling like because they didn't always get along, and I agree.
So whenever somebody will say, "Tell me your age," without telling me your age, well, I love the Partridge Family. That right there lets people know where we're at in the bracket.
Absolutely.
Good morning. I just want to say, Tiffany Bryant, you have been posting some very powerful, uplifting posts and quotes. Keep doing it because you're doing it. I'm reading it. I'm feeling it. You're feeling it. So you're posting it, and then it just trickles down. So awesome. Gail Craft. How is Gail?
Gail's good. Gail and I spent a lot of time together yesterday, and Gail looks really good, and I'm so happy that she's here. And let me tell you something. It speaks volumes of a person when someone's going through stuff and they still show up, and it's just like what you're saying with Tiffany posting that stuff. You can see where Tiffany is in her life, and she's showing up and she's spreading the joy. Yeah. Gail's gone through some really challenging stuff over the last, how many months now, Gail? And Gail still showed up. Like, she would still show up. You wouldn't even know half the time that what she was struggling with, but she showed up. And then there's Kathy. Kathy posts a lot of really positive stuff too. Kathy shows up all the time,
and it's beautiful flowers.
And it's just we really appreciate that. Not as far as the show is concerned specifically, we do with that, but we appreciate that because that means that you're showing up for your life, and that you may be that little ray of sunshine that somebody needed for that moment in time when they read your post or they they saw a picture of you, and that's what this is all about. I mean, the month of April is the living month, and if we're not living, I mean, not that you need to live on social media, because I really don't like posting in social media. I post very, very rarely, but it doesn't mean I'm not living my life. I have other ways to connect with people. But still, you have a presence, and you could decide, do I want my presence to be wonderful and joyful and sharing it with people, or do I want to complain about something? Do I want to get people worked up and riled up? And it's everybody's choice. I mean, people can choose whatever they want to. I choose to connect with people that are more like our tribe, that are just want to bring joy, and life is too short to be focusing on the BS that's out there, because there's plenty of it. Why complain about it? It's there. You might as well just enjoy and be happy and spread the joy.
Yes, you have to. When I do my Viva coming live in 5, which I haven't done it, like this is the second week, but I have been feeling under the weather. I always say, join the tribe if you haven't, and share and listen and learn and teach forward. And so for those who listen to those, Viva is coming live in 5. Thank you, because that message resonates everywhere, because and it's at the top of your day. And it reminds us all that, yeah, we need to listen, normalize listening instead of speaking, and then learn from what you're seeing and listening to, and then share it forward. And that's with the smile, that's with the kind gesture, a kind word, a post that touched you, and now you want to say, you know what, this is so beautiful, and then you share, and that's what's beautiful about it. Melissa Hernandez, haven't seen you.
And Mickey's here
Mickey,
too.
how are you? So I think, and Tiffany, we would love to meet.
Yes, definitely.
So I think, yes, I think the power of you is what makes the world go round, and we forget that. We rely on the power of. So it's like I was saying the other day about Tony Robbins. People like, I knew someone in Tampa, and she went to several of his things, and it was like if he was a god. And I think that's what irritated me. Like this, not. Then I listened to him talk, and he talks like me, like, get the fuck out of here and fuck this and that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe I get it. No, sir. But when you walk with the power of you, and you see something that tickles you inside, and it makes you happy, and then you share it, I mean, come on, that's beautiful. That's divine intervention with everybody you're meeting. So before we go on and do our mantra, I found this book at my favorite store at the Goodwill for $2. I think it belonged to a library. And it's The Alchemist, but look at how wonderful this book is. And so if you were visualizing the man with
set up, it's like a comic, like it's set up like a comic strip. Is every page like that?
Yes. Every page.
That is so cool. I saw that on Amazon. I saw that cover on Amazon, but I didn't read the fine print. That's such a find. And that is his, right? I mean, it looks like it because he's on the cover.
Yeah, it's his book.
No, I mean, I didn't know if it was like a knockoff, That's pretty cool.
No, it's just called the graphic novel.
Oh, yeah, then that's definitely his.
So yeah, whenever you do stop at a Goodwill, I always go to the book section first, trying to find this old school books on herbal remedies. So that's where I always go looking. So, I mean, you usually find the most wonderful treasures is in unexpected places.
Yes.
Like everybody wants to go to like Charlie's Steakhouse, but did you notice that little hole in the wall around the corner? And like those are always like the best places. So
that's funny that you said that. First off, I want to say, Gail, yes, I don't think that's a coincidence. See what I'm saying? The glossy paper with the color. I'm just saying. Yes, in fact, my nephew and his wonderful wife and their baby, they were all visiting. And Saturday, we went into a town about 40 minutes away from here. And that's exactly what we found. We found this little barbecue place. Nothing to look at when you go inside. It was, and you had to go to the counter, order, and then you could sit down, they bring it to you. But the lady was so nice that was helping us. I mean, super, super sweet. The place had no decor to it, really. The food was freaking phenomenal. And it wasn't even that much money. Like it was so incredible. So I hear you. It's like we that's why we always have to be awake and aware, because we miss those things. If we're not paying attention, we will miss those gems that are often placed in front of us. And we're so blind because we have to have a specific
Exactly.
Like I know people who would have never walked into that place. Like they would have walked in and been like, "Oh yeah, I'm not staying in here," And it smelled so good. Like you smelt it from the outside on the sidewalk. Remember back in like the Flintstones, again, we're aging ourselves, when they would be putting stuff on the barbecue and the smoke would come and just pick Fred up and just bring. That's what was happening. Like literally, is picking all of us up and just wafting over to the front door. But it was so worth it.
Which you have to try a little bit of everything, huh? That's how we discover who we are too. So I'm just thinking, this is and I am going quick because I'm thinking push, but that's next month's agenda, and we're so excited for all these agendas. So everybody that signed in afterwards, hello, Gail Horn Day. I hope I said that right. Prima, okay, Melissa, she's my cousin too. So bookoutlet.com. See, let me tell you about me, Kathy. I love to pick up books. I'm a touchy-feely type of chick.
Yeah.
So I like to pick up the books. I like to feel it. And then I like to smell them. And so like in my house, I always had lemongrass. I make my own little wax melts with lemongrass. So I don't really lend out books, but my daughter's friend came over and said, "Oh, I think she wanted to read the Celestine Prophet that I had," and she came back and she brought me a gift, and it was the Celestine Prophet. And I said, "What happened? You lost my book?" She said, "No." She said, "I've had your book for over a month, and my house still smells like lemongrass." So she wanted to keep that.
So I stole it. So I stole it and bought you a new one.
So so there's some books that were left unattended, which breaks my heart. And then there's some that, like, even the scent tells a story. So that's what
Listen, I love. When you come to visit me, I am going to take you to the place that we just went to, and then including we can eat at the barbecue place, but also on that same strip is because it's a little old downtown. Like it's just one strip. It reminded me of
Seymour.
Yeah, but it reminded me of like Lightning McQueen, like when Route 66, they closed it down because the highway came in, but it's like just a forgotten old town that they're trying to revitalize with the old buildings from like the 40s, but there's a used bookstore there, and this guy's jam-packed, like it's jam-packed with books. I'd have to drop you off there, and you'd have to sit there probably for like 2 hours, 3 hours just looking through books, but you probably would find some incredible gems there, I would imagine.
I have a book and I need to know where to take it. I think I've asked you. I have an old leather-bound book. It's red, but it's worn, and it has like the symbol of a fish on it, and I don't know if it's burnt, like a little bit of black area, or if they didn't tend to it correctly. So when I looked at it, I got it from a thrift store with some Bibles. So for years, it sat with all my Bibles. Then I looked at it and turned the page, and it's a book from Pablo Neruda. And I love the Chilean poet, Pablo Neruda. I have like several of his books. And then it had a signature and then a drawing of a face. So I was looking up, like, is this a real signature of Pablo Neruda? And he signs places, but he draws different faces for whom. And this is a personalized autograph book. So I got to find out where to take that.
Wow.
So if it's anywhere in Tennessee,
you want to have it rebound? Is that what it is?
No, I want to see what its value is. If it's Pablo Neruda's original, I'm telling you, they even did a whole Netflix movie on him. And his poetry is just divine. Pablo Neruda, and he has books where it translates Spanish, and then the English version is on the next page. But anyway, it is, Kathy. Those are the days. I don't like to go with nobody when I'm gonna look at books, when I stop at bookstores, because I am like in a whole Alice in Wonderland type of I'm lost somewhere.
It's all right. I could drop you off, leave you there, and I'll walk around and do other stuff. And then I'll say I'll come back at this time and get you.
Oh, look at that, Chanel. Well, let me know. Mija, come down to Shelton. Not now though, because I'm leaving.
Look, at he says he was an avid writer as well. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
Oh, my sister's on. Hello, Sissy.
Good morning, Janet. All right, so let's set our intention. We'll do our mantra and
yes.
Talking to and Tony's on too. Good morning, Tony. I will put you in there in a second.
Tony Hernandez.
Yep. All right.
Hola, prima.
Set your intention for today. Listen, it doesn't matter if it's cloudy outside or it's gloomy or too cold or too hot. Set your intention. Don't let that stop you. Have a purpose for your day today. And
do it with gratitude. Do it with gratitude. Do it with gratitude.
Lovely. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, here we go. We got a lot of people on. Listen, don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, definitely do so. We really would like to keep building that one up. Share it with as many people as possible. We would really appreciate that. And anybody that you would like to invite today while you're on, even if you're not staying on that long, we would love it. I've been slowly getting my local people invited, but I see that they don't come on regularly, but that's okay. I'm not upset about it, but I am going to start pushing it because now I'm knowing so many people down here, and I'm actually going to really start asking. That's going to be my ask is, can you get onto our channel? Because, we know we have a lot to say, and usually it's pretty good. So, all right, our mantra, here we go. Say it loud, say it proud. I am a disruptor.
I am a disruptor.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am magically orgasmic.
Ole.
And I keep it real.
All day, no doubt.
One of these days, we'd like to hear all of you say that you said this out loud at work and like people actually heard you and had, what is that? What are you talking about? Or say it like any time of the day. You don't even have to say it with us. Memorize it. It's a very powerful mantra. When you're
it is. I can't yell because my 2 grandbabies are sleeping, but
how's everybody feeling over there?
Savannah,
did she get worse?
Was rosy cheeks last night, coughing, snots falling last night. So I don't know. They're asleep. So I don't think they're gonna send her because she's so vulnerable, to go to a daycare with like 15 other kids right now. I don't know. Orgasmically courageous at work. That's right. Let me tell you something. There's so many ways to be happy. It doesn't cost
orgasms
a
are definitely one of them.
And you don't need anyone else to tickle you. I mean, come on. Let's get that imagination working.
I can tickle myself. There's all kinds of ways to do that. But it is much more fun when somebody else is part of the plan. And that's definitely been missed. So
thank you, Kathy. I think that it's like what we've all said throughout the year. I mean, come on, we're celebrating 4 years next month. That is just amazing.
Yes.
It's inspiring to self. It's admiring of one another. It's encouraging that the majority of you here on the tribe began with us, and some that aren't on the whole show come on and off, and that right there just shows a lot. Those who have brought people on with them to celebrate the joys of being a woman and being the most powerful beings in the universe, and acknowledging that for yourself. And I think that just showing up. When people are like, oh, how many people you had on the show? I said, well, 13 people showed up for themselves today. Because that's what you're really doing. Because you take what you hear and then you share it out throughout your day. That's right. The whole purpose of the show.
That's right.
When you write down things to share with us, we absorb them. It becomes part of our day. So what beauty can compare to that? And then celebrating 4 years of what we do twice a week is just phenomenal. So gracias.
It's you know what? Actually, I just had a thought, and I'm going to say it. So 2 weeks from Thursday, we'll have our 4-year anniversary show. Gladiator Guru is actually going to be away, but we're going to have the show. I'm going to ask this on behalf of Viva. If you all would do this and spread this, so for those of you that know people that have been, have watched the show, maybe they're not on this morning. And we want you to take a less than 1 minute video of yourself talking about what you think of Viva and send it to us. Send it through through Messenger. So for those of you that are on, you can probably get through Facebook Messenger. And if for some reason it's not working, then send it. You could always email it to us, I guess. We have an email address, so you could just let us know. But I'm thinking this would be kind of fun, because if we could collect a lot of you talking about this and about the show, and what does it mean to you? Like, what has it done for you? What is it that you like about the show? But do it in 1 minute so that we could actually post you on our Facebook page and our Instagram page, because we can put it together as a clip. But don't wait until the second week, until 2 weeks from now. If you could start doing that now, then we could start posting that now. I think that would be kind of fun. And actually, Gladiator Guru and I will probably do that as well. We'll talk about why we do the show, and then what the ask will be is that if we could all share it. Like what we'll do is we'll tag whoever's sending us the stuff, and then even tag a few of the other members, because we know that you all connect to each other, and we appreciate that. And then you get people like Iritza. Hi, Iritza. Welcome back from your trip. You get people like Iritza, who's literally like the welcome wagon. Like, she's brought so many people to us and then she'll share it. Like, she's always like, it's almost like she's like, they're on. Hello, how come you're not on? And we really appreciate that. And not only will she share it, but when they are on, she will always make sure that she says hello to them in the comments, and that's what connection is. That's the beauty of creating a tribe. We're not the head of the tribe. We're just out front, but anybody else can just walk out front too and lead the group. It's not like we're looking to lead it. It's just to create. And when you create something like this, you also notice the other tribes around you. Like, I've gotten to be friends with some really cool women tribes. Like, there's one women business tribe called Fem City, and it is national. Like, they're all across the country, and they're very cool ladies. And I look at that and I'm blessed, because I feel like I just keep getting to know more and more people that think the way that I do, that live the life that I live. And we may not be exact, but the mindset is so close that it doesn't matter because you don't have to be exact match of somebody. It's just the whole point is to enhance and lift up, to not have the attitude of, well, I've got to succeed and I'm going to do everything I can to put them down so that I can succeed and make myself feel better. But that's not the way we work. And we don't want to be around people that have that mentality, because it's too destructive. And to be honest with you, it's pretty much how the world is. So
it's choices. Yeah, it's choices. You're absolutely right. I just think when we wake up every Tuesday and Thursday and choose to participate, and let me tell you something about the tribe. You feed us when you fill in the comments stuff about yourself or things you did, like bookoutlet.com. Kathy, I'm gonna give it a go. Gail, I met Gail through here, and it's phenomenal. Tiffany Bryan, I mean, all of you. I don't even know if Milagros is on, but
not yet, not that I see.
All of you, Chanel, all of you, Speedy. It makes such a big difference. And just like the badass Buddha said, I go on social media and I'll post somebody's birthday, and I have to be more present because I'm growing my business, but not present to where I'm going to put everything there like I used to. But I need to, like, hello, I'm here, come check me out type of deal. So it does serve a purpose, like everything in our lives. It does serve a purpose to an extent, and that's where the teachings come in, and that's where the learnings come in, and that's when the sharing of stuff comes in. And I think this is what this tribe is all about. So please send in your clip. You know what? Even send photos, because we can do a photos thing of all the tribe members. Give us your best shot. Send it to the Viva Cafe con Leche 2@gmail.com.
Yes,
So I
and so
love Marty for that.
Milagros is here. So good morning, Milagros. I know I love Marty too. And so for those of you that just came on, good morning, Wanda. My Southern Belle's on. We're
Hi,
asking
Wanda.
you to take a less than 1 minute video of yourself talking about what you like and watch and what it's done for you. And then send it to us through Messenger, through Facebook Messenger, and we're gonna post it. We're gonna post it because we're coming up to our 2-year anniversary. And I'm gonna go on to say, so those of you that are bilingual, do it both. Like, say you could either choose to say the whole thing in Spanish, or you could or whatever the language is, or you could do half of it in English and half, because I think that would be fun, because I think it throws people off. A lot of people think that this is completely a Spanish show, that's all that we're going to talk, but then most of the time we're speaking English. So I love the idea of adding that. So so like, for instance, Milagros, if you want to do yours completely in Spanish, then do it. Then just record it in that.
Wepa.
And that's it, but let's have some fun with this and let's celebrate together. And there's no pressure, if you don't want to be posted and be like, I don't want to have my face like, out there talking.
Do it. That's just like looking in the mirror and saying, I love you, boo. You're the best thing that happened to me. Let's make today great. Remember the challenge that I did? Nobody has mentioned it. But do it. You know what? Just do it. Get out of your shadow and start to shine. Even if it's just with the 1 minute video of you saying, Viva Cafe con Leche. Makes my day. Whatever it is. Step out of your shadow.
And Editha brought up a good point. She said, we can also be drinking a cup of coffee on the video. In the beginning, we used to actually tell people to take pictures of themselves. Remember that, Gladiator Guru?
Yeah, I looked at all those mugs.
And then we posted those for a bit, we should get back to stuff like that again. You know what it is? It's not that we don't care. It's both of us have this terrible aversion sometimes to social media. And I barely post for my business. I go in spurts. So it's one of those things where we have these beautiful ideas, but then we're like, okay, but who's going to post it on a regular basis? Because we're both like, one of these days we will get somebody to do our social media postings for us, because I think we would have a much greater presence if we did that on a regular basis.
Yeah, because although like we have our plus and minuses, and Lori's really good at getting all the show stuff ready. And when we first started, I said, oh, I don't do that. She goes, oh, I'll do it. I said, you sure? Because I'm not asking you to. That's a lot of work. And she loves doing it. And she's just phenomenal creating all our little emojis, And so
the quality went down over the
No, it did not. And I think that, you know what, for a show that started on a whim, we're like, well, let's see how it goes. And the pandemic, and here we are 4 years later. That's phenomenal. I'm very proud of the accomplishments, of the growth personally, spiritually, for me. And so that's what we just want to share with everyone who comes on, is that we can grow, be that rose growing from concrete in everything you do. So today it's a quote, but I wanted to show, this is one of my favorite books, The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. I always speak about
his book
quotes.
Or poems? Is that an actual book, or is it poems? Is it
It is a book of like 2-page poems.
Okay.
The Prophet, this isn't my original book. That one's still in Florida. But I picked this up at the Goodwill. I was so excited. And he has little different writings on stuff. One of his favorite quotes is, the Lord said, love thy enemy. And I obeyed and started loving myself.
Oh, dang.
Such
that
a powerful,
is good.
quote. He's Lebanese. He came to the United States. His story is really, really beautiful. And he draws all of his stuff, but this is what he really looks like. But anyway, so that's the original book I learned of Khalil Gibran back in 2001 when I worked in Goodwill in Orlando in the Self-Sufficiency Center, and I had 1 week of high intense job skills training. So where we were situated, this Goodwill Self-Sufficiency Center was smack in the middle of all the homeless shelters in downtown Orlando. Well, the outskirts of downtown Orlando. And so every day you would see buses come in and all the male prisoners getting off and going into this shelter. And then the rest were just a whole bunch of homeless. But they would come in. The ones coming out of prison had to register with us. So on that Monday morning, really tall, like 7 feet tall. I think he was from Africa, came and he had to sign up. So on Thursday, I see him that he had this black book with him every day since he registered. So I said, "What's that book?" He says, "Oh, this book saved my life. I was in prison for 18 years and I received it like 3 months after I went into prison from somebody who was leaving. And this book, I've read it and for the whole 18 years. And I said, "Do you mind if I read it?" But it's really not a big book. So I took it home that night. I read it, fell in love. Friday was the last day. I gave it back to him. I said, "Thank you. This book is phenomenal. I got to find one." The end of the day, at the end of class, that's it. I wasn't seeing him no more. He hands me the book. And he says, "I want to give this to you. It no longer belongs to me." 18 years in prison with the book. Now, someone else had it prior to him. It is a second print from the 1923 edition, the one that I own.
Wow.
And it's all black and it's all frayed on the side. And he wrote it to me and signed his name. And his name has always resonated with me, which led me to delve into those books as well, which was Enoch. So since 2001, when I received that book, The Prophet, I have been searching for the missing books from the Bible of Enoch. And I got a copy of the book of Enoch. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome
I mean,
story.
huh?
I said, what a cool story. It just even makes it that much more it just makes it that much more powerful that you received that book from.
Yes.
And that's proof positive too, that, gifts come in the most interesting packages. There's so many people that would have blinders on that would not give any of these individuals the time of day, and let alone like be interested in a book that individual is reading, let alone read it, and let alone accept it as a gift. Most people would be like, "Oh, I don't know these people or whatever," and they create an idea of who they are, and that's why you never know who you're going to meet. Like when my office was my full-time practice office was in downtown Bridgeport on Main Street, right in downtown, and it was in an area where the buildings were, there was like nasty buildings across the street. They were like falling apart. They hadn't renovated my section, but further down they did, closer to City Hall, of course. So there were some vagrants that would hang out, but I got to know them because they weren't bad people. They just, they had issues. And one of them, every time I would unload my car, he would come and he would say, "Do you need me to help you?" And he was this white older guy. And I'd say, "Sure," and he was hoping to get a few bucks, Come to find out, got to know him, and he was a heroin addict. And he was very open about it. And he said, "I made some very bad choices," but he was a writer. He actually published a few books, and he was a professor at a university. And he used to live in California, and I forgot why but so it's like, you never know. And so one of my massage therapists used to go out, and she would take a smoke break, and they would talk. So like I found out a lot of this information also through her. And then all of a sudden, like a few months later, maybe a year later, he comes up to us one day when we were kind of outside, and he says, "Oh, I just wanted to tell you that I'm not going to be around anymore." And we're like, "Oh, I mean, are you all right?" And he's, "Oh, yeah." He goes, my siblings from California reach out to me, and I'm going to get a chance to reclaim my life. So they're sending me out to California, and I'm going to go into rehab, and I'm going to give it a try. And it was so nice to hear that, you know what I mean? But again, you know, and I'll admit, I wouldn't have probably given the guy the time of day had he not been around so much. But he was a nice person. You know, he was always, you know, there were some scary ones, you know, there were some that were always out of it. They were drunk. They would say things, but then the other ones who were like, they would kind of protect my little shop, you know, they would say stuff to those people and they would make sure that they wouldn't be around the shop, you know. But I'm blessed with the fact that I am who I am. And just like Gladiator Guru, she is who she is, because um, to see through things and look at people deeper beyond that, I'm not always good at it. I have to remind myself, but when I am good at it, I love it, because you see, I've seen more beauty in people that didn't seem beautiful, quote, than the people that put all this stuff on and have themselves all dressed up. And I've seen, it's like the movie Shallow Hal. That's what it reminds me of, is how I love that movie. He was able to see people for who they were, the internal real self, as opposed to the outer self, you know? And but anyway, and so the title of today is Life Finds a Way. And we've been talking about it. That's the beauty of it. We actually have been talking about it. Life Finds a Way. We got that title from, for those of you that like to watch Jurassic Park, that was from the very first Jurassic Park, when the one doctor said, you know, they said, oh, they breed them all to be females, and so they can't, there's no what's it called, whatever breeding, and they can't breed on their own out in the park. And the one doctor said, but that's, life finds a way, and it, so you can't control it. Life finds a way. And then sure enough, as the other doctor was stuck in the park, he saw that there were eggs there. And we thought it was a great title, because no matter what, life finds a way. Even if you are going in the wrong direction, you'll keep going in the wrong direction if you're not clear. But everything around you will keep going. The trees bloom every year. If you live in an area where the leaves fall off and they become dormant, they will grow. Nobody's going to go out there and tell the tree, you know, you're not growing this year. Flowers come up, grass comes up, weeds come up. All of that, the birds lay eggs, life happens. Animals come from dormancy and sleep, and they wake up and they start eating and they start breeding. Life finds a way. And the question is, are you just in for the ride and just sitting there and letting it all happen in front of you, or are you a part of it? Go ahead, Gladiator Guru.
I think that's phenomenal. I think that what you were talking about, see, it's like I always say, I give everybody an A when I meet them until they fuck it up. And it could be also for me, from my side too. So when you treat people as people, regardless of how they're dressed, how their hair's combed, you know, what cologne they're wearing or not, and you just see them like their spirit, then then, you know, you've reached a divine part of your journey where you can see past the facade of what society deems us to look at in order to appreciate. And I think that is the true beauty, the true essence of it. But so I'm going to read.
Yes, go ahead.
The underline of it was the cypress. But first I wanted to read, it's a quick one, on joy and sorrow, because we talked about this, but it has a lot to do with the line that we said. It says, so a woman says, speak to us of joy and sorrow. And he answered, your joy is your sorrow unmasked. And the self same well from which your laughter rises was oftentimes filled with your tears. And how else can it be? The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. It's not the cup that holds your wine, the very cup that was burned in the potter's oven. And it's not the lute that soothes your spirit, the very wood that was hollowed with knives. When you are joyous, look deep into your heart, and you shall find it is only that which was giving you sorrow that is giving you joy. When you are sorrowful, look again in your heart. and you shall see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. Some of you say joy is greater than sorrow, and others say, nay, sorrow is the greater. But I say unto you, they are inseparable. Together they come, and when one sits alone with you at your board, remember that the other is asleep upon your bed. Verily, you are suspended like scales between your sorrow and your joy. Only when you are empty are you at a standstill and balanced. When the treasure keeper lifts you to weigh his gold and his silver, needs must your joy or your sorrow rise and fall. So they are inseparable. It's like pain is inevitable, but sorrow is optional.
Mm.
So it's, I don't know, I love that one. It reminds us that we want to claim the miserable lives we had when we're sad, but it's now, we're still the same. We're just going through emotion. But we were talking about life. What's the title again, Badass?
Life finds a way.
Life finds a way. It always does. And I think I wrote that in being grateful how love will arise from a place that death wouldn't even visit. Um, so I love that. I love this. So here, the one that little quote we got is from his thing on marriage, right? They're short like that one. But it says, the Almitra spoke again and said, "In what of marriage, master?" And he answered, listen, because this is good. You were born together, and together you shall be forevermore. You shall be together when the white wings of death scatter your days. Aye, y'all shall be together even in the silent memory of God. But let there be spaces in your togetherness, and let the winds of the heavens dance between you. Love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your souls. Fill each other's cup, but drink not from one cup. Give one another of your bread, but eat not from the same loaf. Sing and dance together and be joyous, but let each one of you be alone. Even the strings of a lute are alone, though they quiver with the same music. Give your hearts, but not into each other's keeping, for only the hand of life can contain your hearts. And stand together, yet not too near together. This is the most important part of it all. For the pillars of the temple stand apart, and the oak tree and the cypress grow not in each other's shadows. So I think the most powerful thing there is for anything. It's just for when it's you with someone else.
Yeah.
And this
Doesn't have
talks
to be
about marriage.
marriage. Yeah.
Yeah, it talks about, man, remember he wrote this in 1923, but it can talk about your relationship with work. It can talk about your relationship with your children. It talks about a relationship outside of you, that we pour everything we have into that outside part, and we lose ourselves. So that our life's essence is put on the back burner. And then we go through life sad and angry because we're not being recognized, we're not being applauded for being. But then again, we placed ourselves on that back burner.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes. Yes.
so
Yes.
how powerful is that? Is to love one another, but make not a bond of love, because people have murdered each other in the name of love. What you do is you love, but remember, when you love with no expectations of being loved back.
That's correct.
When we have an expectation, like I know someone very close to me, I ain't gonna mention no names, that they'll say, the husband will pass by, I love you, I love you. And he's doing something. She's like, damn, I said I love you. And that even I'm like, what the hell? So what? You said you love me. Now he has to stop what he's doing to say it back. And that takes away. So I think a lot of us need to learn that. Many of us, I could recommend this to survivors of narcissism, survivors of everything, that your essence was taken away in the name of love. You loved innocently and they betrayed you and controlled you. Because of that love, So now you look at love as it's a weakness, but it's not. It was just that person. And so this, because it reminds you to come back to you in such simple and eloquent wording. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
How short was that, but how powerful was the words? Especially when he says, give one another of your bread, but eat not from the same loaf. You know how many people I met that they eat out of the same dish, and or they won't eat unless the other one's present. And so growing up, my mother would cook. You know, when you come home from school, you're hungry, right? She'll be cooking. We couldn't eat until her husband got out of work. 2.5 hours after we got home from school. He had to be the first one served out of the pots. So
That's that machismo bullshit crap.
When I tell you that this book had spoke to me in so many levels back in 2001, it's just brilliant with the simplicity of the powerful words that it has. So, you know, when for the pillars of the temple stand apart, but they're together.
Yeah.
And any courthouse has those big white pillars.
Yep. Our front porch does.
Yes. Holding up that heavy part of the house. They're not like this.
No.
Oh my God. Oh, I need to smell you. Don't walk. Stay right here. No, they're like this. They're like, bitch, move. Get out the way.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of in like those old buildings, like you'll see in Manhattan or something like that, where you have on either side of the steps the lion statues.
Yes.
One's flanking one side, one's flanking the other side, and they're there representing. And I love that poem because it's trees. We have so many trees in our yard. And it's interesting to see the ones that grew too close to each other, they never grow fully. There's always like branches that are always broken or not growing because they're blocking each other's light. But then when you look out, like our front yard, I mean, our view in our front yard, it's just my window view is just stunning. And we have like a maple tree and then, it's a maple tree. And then there's on one side and then maybe like 100 feet away, or not even, maybe about 50, 75 feet away, is a weeping cherry tree. And beautiful. Both of them are just stunning. They're very different. You know, one is extremely beautiful. The other one is just, you know, it's just a tree. But looking at them both, they don't block each other's light. They're both representations of the front yard. And that's the way it works. And, you know, if I knew this, when I was in my 20s, like my life would have been completely different. If these things were put into my head and said, you know, you don't have to be this, you know, you are a separate entity. And that's what you want to attract as a person who's a separate entity, but loves you unconditionally. Both marriages would have been completely different. Like I would have never attracted those people, nor would I have been attracted to them. Because I would have known who I was and I would have known that I could stand on my own. And then life finds a way. I would always find a way. I didn't need somebody to help me find it because I knew I would know self. So that's the beauty. And, you know, a lot of us figured this out later in life. So we could sit there and say, oh, you know, it really stinks. I wish I knew then what I know now. Can't go back in time. But what can we do with that? We just teach other people. We reach out to younger people and share the wisdom that we've learned. Will they take it? Who knows? But some will. Most of the time, it's the ones that aren't related to you. They don't want to listen to you. They'll like if whatever wisdom Gladiator Guru would share, my kids would probably latch on before they would listen to my wisdom. It could be the same exact stuff, but it doesn't matter because as a tribe, you're all sharing the same message, but you do it in your own way, and then somebody is bound to hear it. And what would that do? It just makes the world a better place because it makes better humans. And then they go out and share that information with other people. And so that's what we have to take with this. We can't go back in time and relive our lives with the knowledge that we have now. All we could do is move forward and then create the life that we want to live now and work towards that.
Just be present. Like a lot of people that I speak with say, I can't do that. I'm not you. I wouldn't even know how to start emptying, organizing my thoughts to eliminate them. And I said, but it's everything seems difficult when you say it because we're not really thinking about eliminating the junk. We're thinking about the effort we have to put into it to
Yes.
get to the elimination process.
Yes.
So a lot of the times people don't move forward into their purpose because they have a lot of shit to clean up.
Yes.
They have a lot of furniture to move and to donate and to eliminate and to baggage that needs to be incinerated, never to return. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. It's going to take courage. It's going to take strength. So before they even get to the, okay, if I do this, this is what I'm going to gain. See, a person who's afraid of change will say, but I'm going to lose all of this and time and I'm going to lose everything I've known. A person who's willing to see their internal growth flourish and come out will say, okay, so if I do this, it's going to take X amount of weeks, maybe a couple months. But what's my end game of gain? And then they'll go to work. But let me tell you, the majority of the people I speak to, they come with excuses, excuses, excuses. Then I'm the bad guy when I don't want to deal with them no more. Because you know what? The old adage of the cliche, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Yes.
I see that in people.
On a daily.
Like more of the movie is more, and I look at them and I get sad.
Yes.
Not because I can't help them, but because they choose not to help themselves. So
Yes.
there's, when you
Absolutely.
come across, I'm never going to stop encouraging, I'm not, and when I'm talking to the majority of my family members. I'm never going to stop encouraging. I'm never going to stop throwing in a word, even though they look at me like, shut the hell up already type of deal. Because, and I'll say, well, you don't see what I see in you because you never look in the mirror, or you don't look at yourself enough to see what lives within. And I'm that you think you know it all type of sister and all and cousin, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with those titles. Because I don't think I know it all, but I know enough to know that choosing to be better makes you rise. Even if it's just a little inch, a second inch, or you take that one mini step. You know how you got steps that are exhausting because they're that tall, and then you got the long ones. But before you can get to those leaps, so you can jump into your own, you got them little ones, those exhausted ones that feels like you're not going nowhere. But that's just to light that firecracker up your ass. So,
Yes.
when we don't give up, when we show up to work on time, sick or not, we leave on time, we go to lunch when they tell us. When you're so committed because you're going to gain a paycheck, when you commit yourself to yourself like that, you gain a life. And within that life, you can choose what kind of paycheck you're going to start receiving, gaining, enriching your life with, adding to your life. But when you dedicate and commit yourself to self, your end game, your bi-weekly paycheck is your life. Hand it to you on a silver platter because that's what you are. It's who you are, and that's what you deserve. But we got to put our best effort into it. So you cannot grow. The oak does not grow in the shadow of the cypress, which means you cannot grow into your true, true, true self if you dedicate yourself to showing up for the majority part of your day, 5 days a week, and you hate it. Either you learn to love your job so that then you can learn to enjoy and love your life when you're outside of your job, or you regroup. I'm not telling you quit. What I'm saying is analyze. Analyze what is priority for you, not your kids, not your husband, not your job, not anything. People love to brag about education. Oh, I have a double master's and a PhD, and you're still an idiot. what happens is you deserve to go and discover who you, I'm serious. Like the doctor who kept asking me, you have any allergies? I said, the last time I'm like, I told you I have no allergies and I'm not going to take anything. I have no allergies. Praise God. But I'm looking at them like, okay, whatever. But discover you. Stop growing in someone's shadow and then being angry when they're moving up.
Yeah.
Well, you're the one who chose to sit in their shadow,
Yes.
boo-boo.
Yeah.
So of course they're living their life. They are saying they have a goal. And you know what the problem is? You cannot see their vision because you have no goals. You're living in their shadow.
Yeah.
So now you're hating and being jealous and envious and talking bad about instead of feeding your spirit kindness and gratitude.
And can I just jump in and let me jump in and say something?
We gotta go.
Yeah, we do have to go, but let me just say something really quick is the fact that don't guilt yourself and don't feel bad that you have been thinking that way, that you have been envious, jealous of people. Enough already. Just don't guilt yourself. Just get out of it. Because I've been there, and I've been there numerous times in my process of healing in the last 8 years. There's been times where I did fall back into that, and I was jealous and angry because I was seeing other people doing things and I wasn't, because that was my choice. It takes a lot to come to terms with that. And it is not easy because you have to admit to your stagnation and you can't blame anybody. It's nobody's fault that you stagnated. It's yours. The best you could do is just be clear on the fact that that is happening. What is it that I truly want? And what do I need to do to get the F out of this space? Whether it means quitting a job, ending a relationship, moving out of the house or the apartment you're in, moving to another city, state, or country. It's to get you moving and then owning it, so that if you move or if you get out of the relationship and you're still doing the same crap, it's you. It wasn't that situation, but getting out of situations helps you. It gives you clarity. It clears the headspace so that you could see better, you could feel better. And that's the key, is don't just keep staying in it, and don't guilt yourself for, oh, well, that is me, and I'm a terrible person. You're not a terrible person. You just allowed yourself to be controlled by other situations. Stop it already. Just stop.
And you're not terrible. But you're not terrible when you recognize.
That's right.
See,
that's right.
The first step into healing is that you are holding yourself accountable. And so, wow, I think there's not one human that is without sin. And there's not one human who hasn't been envious. Sometimes, envy, when you see something, you don't even got to know the person. And you see something and it clicks, something that you forgot because you were so busy feeling sorry for yourself. And you're like, oh my God, I said last year that I wanted to do this, because you have everything. Let's say you wanted to create some type of lip gloss. I don't know. But you bought the stuff a year ago, but then something happened in life and it's just in a box. You see something and you're like, oh, yeah, I was trying to do that. And then you're like, wait a minute, I do have everything for it. Sometimes that triggers you into moving your ass. Movement is life, remember? So use it to your advantage, but don't use it as a crutch to complain about why you're not where you're at. Because nobody else moving forward has anything to do with your stagnation. But you, when you acknowledge that, then, hold yourself accountable, life will grow. Be the life you want to be while you still have life.
Yes. And life finds a way. If you're choosing not to grow, everything's growing around you. Don't complain about it. Just do it. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. What's today? Tuesday. I don't even know what day it is anymore. Thursday. We are talking about, I know we both have to go, forward motion. So that's going to be leading into the next month, as we have 2 more days of Viva left for this month. So the living month. We'll see you on Thursday. Thanks for being here. From the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And Kathy, I love the money tree story. Badass Buddha should send me one. And mi gente.
And me too. I'll send myself one.
Breathe in the beauty. And breathe out the bullshit. Namaste. Have a great weekend. Oh, see you Thursday. Okay, I'm ahead of my time.
We're both there. Bye, everybody.